everyone, this is Mr. Drew. Hope you're all doing well. Hope your first day of classes went well. Again, it was nice meeting you all today, whether that had been in the classroom itself or via Zoom. Again, I do apologize for a couple of the technical difficulties that we had. It was the first day of classes at ASU today, so I expected a little bit of these things to happen. But hopefully before our next class next Thursday, we'll have been able to resolve all of these issues, and we won't be bogged down by some of these technical issues. So, if you do have any questions or concerns about attending class, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to chat. I'm very accessible by email, so do reach out if you have any questions. Okay. So as I talked about, this is going to be the short video that you will watch before next week's class. And then again, after you watch this class, I will ask that you take that quick 3-question survey just to ensure that you have watched today's video. Okay? So we're going to continue along with the idea of creative problem solving. And we're going to talk a little bit about the steps or the phases of this process. It's somewhat similar, and people have talked about it in a variety of different ways. And we're just using kind of one model here to talk about it. But really, when you think about problem solving, it can be done in multiple different ways. So we're going to look at it really in sort of the design thinking mind frame. And that kind of includes a couple phases. So we have this first phase of inspiration. We have this second phase of ideation, and then our third phase of implementation. So we'll talk a little bit about each of those areas over the next couple of slides. So the first sort of phase is looking at empathy. It's where you really understand the core of the problem, the people, the situation. So you have to think about, well, what's going on? What is the problem? You have to observe. You're going to engage. You're going to experience what people are experiencing. So you really need to get in touch with what is the problem and what needs to be fixed. The second stage is where you're going to really define that situation. Okay? So now that you understand what the problem is, now we have to define what the problem is and how we can try to make it better. Okay? So we're going to be thinking about how are we going to communicate when we fix this problem? How are we going to change the situation through solving this problem? And so we want to be able to define what that problem is before we can really start thinking about how to solve it. Okay? Here's my first question. I love hiking Camelback in this really hot weather. Even though it's 115 degrees out in Phoenix, I love hiking Camelback Mountain. Okay, so the third stage is this ideation phase. So this is where we come up with the ideas. Really, it's about brainstorming. There's no wrong answer when we think about the ideation phase. It's what are the possibilities of how we can solve this problem. And so you might want to just create a whole list of solutions. They may not all work, but that's what this phase is for. It's about the ideas and just jotting everything down, seeing what you come up with, and making a note of that so you can explore all the various options. There's no wrong answer in this phase. The next phase is what we call the prototype phase. And that's really where you're going to start narrowing down all of the ideas you had in the previous phase and trying to come up with one or two where you might think it might be the best solution. And so we call it a prototype because it's like a model, or it's the first thing that we're going to see. Will this work? Is this going to change the situation? Is this going to fix our problem? And so this is where we really want to figure out what might be the first way we should tackle it, and then let's explore that idea a little bit further. So exploring it a little bit further is our last phase. It's this testing phase. It's the phase where we want to see, does this solution work? Is this going to make it better? And usually in the testing phase, there are lots of sort of iterations of it, where you try something out, you realize, oh, well, that didn't really work exactly, so let me adjust something just a little bit and then try again. And then you realize, oh, well, maybe that didn't work, let me adjust it again and try something else. So So you're going to keep sort of circling back and saying what worked well, what didn't, and keep testing it until you come up with a solution. And that's sort of how we try and go through these steps to solve a problem for ourselves. So here is sort of a larger picture of this process as we think about the inspiration phase. You know, what do we want to do? How do we want to solve these problems? Where can we really let our creative juices flow? And into that ideation phase of, okay, I want to try this, I want to try this, this might not work, but I want to try out this phase. And then again, we end in the implementation phase where we try something out. Okay? So we'll talk about this a little bit further in class this coming week. Just want to remind you all of a couple items that you will need to do before class. And I did mention those in our class today. So just a reminder to complete Module 1 and 2, or parts of 2. So in Module 1, you'll complete the Introduce Yourself discussion board post. You'll finish that quick Getting Started quiz, and then you will do the one-page homework assignment, and that's that New York Times article and writing up sort of a summary report of that. For week 2, you'll watch this video, which you're obviously watching right now, and then you'll do that quick 3-question quiz before class. All right? So, hope you all are doing well. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Again, reach out if you have any questions. All right, take care, everyone.